Hey, Chris here with Get in the Van You Can. Hope everyone's doing okay. I'm on a little hike right now. I'll give you some look at where I'm at. Yesterday on Instagram, I posted a picture of this same trail going up the top of the mountain. I was thinking about doing that today, but instead I came down because it looked not so treacherous this way. And I opened up in a big meadow down here. Looks like people ride motorcycles through here too, so nice little trail though. Nice day to get out, self-isolate. Is it what the term is? I can't remember what the term is. Anyway, this is day number 9, I believe. My trip across America due to the coronavirus. Wanted to get to a safe place, living in a van and all. And what better place than here? What better time than now? Somewhere in New Mexico. I'm not going to give out my exact location because I plan on staying here for at least 2 weeks, maybe longer if I can. So far, I haven't seen any kind of presence. Today was the first day any kind of traffic came through, and it was motorcycle traffic. I'm in a pretty remote area. I keep seeing bear scat, which is a little alarming. But anyway, on a hike today. Today I want to talk about what exactly a man like me, 43-year-old man, is doing living in a van. Going across the country, working hospitality jobs, that sort of thing. And it's not because I have to. And most of the time, I want to. It started off for me after my first divorce. I ended up taking a job with a photography company, and we just traveled locally. I stayed at motels, and I'd go an hour or two away, whatever. But I enjoyed that, and that didn't last forever. So I ended up going back home, and I was selling furniture at the time, and we had a friend of ours that took a show on the road, furniture outfit, and I started working for him. I was making really good money, and once again living in hotels. We always lived in hotels for the most part. Sometimes condominiums, but for the most part hotels. And I just got to where I like coming and going. I like going to new spots, and at the end of that sale, when it was all over with, I was ready to move on and get to the next place. So I love coming, and I love going, but I never have liked staying. And I did that for a long time. I traveled the United States doing that. I lived in some fantastic places and had some fabulous times. I mean, when it was good, it was good. But just like everything else, around 2006, it hit its mark. I think we'd put everybody out of business. I was doing exclusively going out of business sales at that point in time. And I think we just put everybody out of business, and everyone was kind of on with the game. They knew what was going on. So that stopped, and once again I tried to go back home, and started over there and worked in the pest control industry for a little while, and I just kept taking off. Every opportunity I got to go somewhere and try something, I started doing it. And back then it was all work related, more bear scat. But I just love to go, and when things would get bad, I would go. When things would get good, I would go. I just like to go. And so after moving around the country for several years, living in hotels, and sometimes, man, I would get an apartment. I'd get everything set up the way it needed to be, all the comforts, and then something would come up, and it'd be time to travel. I can't tell you how many times I put stuff in storage buildings and just left them there. Not because I couldn't pay, but I just didn't. I don't know. I can't explain it to you. But so I like to live like this. I did utility pole inspections for a while, which got to put me in hotels, living one place to another again, seeing the sights, staying on my feet. And eventually, like, this is after my second marriage, I'd pretty much been just coming. I was a weekend warrior. You know, I'd come home for the weekends, and the rest of the time I was out working, always on the road. And that was a pretty good life for me, but I guess not for her so much. But anyway, once that marriage was over, I just knew for a fact that I really didn't want to. I didn't want to be a homeowner. Didn't want to stay put anywhere. Didn't want a normal job. And at that point in time, I already knew there were jobs out there. From being on the road and staying in these hotels, especially doing utility work, you know, I was able to see just how many people were traveling and what they're doing. And so I ended up, I ended up also like experiencing some spiritual questions, you know, and I ended up moving into to an ashram in Los Angeles. ISKCON, International Society for Christian Consciousness, better known as the Hare Krishnas, and I actually went there twice, and I tried to live that life, and they were good people and good life. But that was the first time that I'd ever seen someone living in a van, because those guys would take books out and you know, sell them at colleges and music festivals and things like that. But they had the van set up to cook in and with water. They even bathed in the van. So that was an interesting concept. And there was also a guy that was living in an RV, like a 20-footer, and it was amazing amount of space and comforts and everything in that. And so that's when I started getting the idea. So just like everything else these days, when you get an idea, you just put it in the old Googler, and lo and behold, there's a whole industry out here, a whole group of people doing this. Probably, they say right now, 1 million people are living nomadically out of either vehicles or RVs right now in the United States. And I started watching, you know, some of the big names that we've all seen. I don't know if I can say the names on here, but anyway, I guess I can say anything I want to say. What are they going to do? They don't pay me for these videos. I watched Bob Wells and Carolyn's RV Life, the Van City Vanlife guy, like him. I don't know. Combi Life, I really enjoyed that one. That was probably beyond anything I'll ever attempt. I'm happy just here in the United States doing it the way I do it, but you know, certainly fun to watch and adventure to watch. And so I got serious about it, and I took a job for a company up in South Dakota. It was a job doing laundry. But it paid all right, and they the housing there at that time, I think it was like $50 a week, and so I lived in that house for the summer, and I worked and I saved up money, and I bought a 2007 Ford Econoline 350 Super Duty gas with a 2-foot fiberglass high top, and it came with the cook stove, a Camp Chef cast iron 2-burner. Has 10 gallons of propane underneath, and then it has like a 30-gallon water tank on it, which up until now I've never even really utilized that, because I've always had, you know, no worries of access to water. But anyway, so I bought this van, and I knew a little bit about what to expect from the videos I was watching, but it was, you know, I just took off in it. And I think the first night I slept was Las Vegas. I had to cross into Vegas to save a couple $100 on a mattress because of the California fire safety code. It didn't have the right tag on it, so it cost more money in California, or they wouldn't even deliver it to California. That was it. Anyway, so I drove to Nevada, and I unboxed a foam mattress, and I waited on that thing to fill up, and I cooked a meal, and I was in the Walmart parking lot, and I got the knock, you know. And they said, "Hey man, you can't stay here. This is a particular airport." I think it was a Walmart, but the property was owned by the airport, or butted up next to an airport, so they didn't really want to stay there. But the guy was real cool and told me where to go. It was like a Walmart grocery store on down the road. And so I took off, and that was my first night in the van, and I've been living in it ever since. That's going on 2 years. But I've been all over the country. I've had some good times. I've had some rough times, some breakdowns. I've had it all kind of happen. But the reason this life seems to work for me, bottom line to this whole thing is because I don't have to lose everything I've got when I take a notion to go somewhere. I just take my house with me. I go to where the job is. I go to where the what I want to do is, and I'm in control of that, and I don't have to give up my comforts. I know right now in that van, I've got a kitchen, I've got a bedroom, I've got a living room, I've got closets, storage space. I've got the potential to like the same van the Hare Christians was in. I could set it up the way they had it and even take a bath in it. But I don't care to do that. So that's why living in a van works for me, and that's where I came from. Now, a good friend of mine used to say he wasn't the mental pillar of society, and I'm gonna quote him on that. I'm not exactly the mental pillar of society, but at the same time, I don't mean anybody any harm. This life works for me. Now, if you demand the comforts, air conditioned, heat, space, if you got kids, if if whatever, if things are, if you don't like to camp, you're not gonna like living in a van. And that's basically what it boils down to. I always enjoyed camping. I ran a fishing guide service for a couple of years. I love the outdoors, So this to me is like just perfect. It's like I tell people it's like having a metal tent, that you could lock with a kitchen in it, and a nice twin size bed. You know what I mean? It's like it's the ultimate camping machine. Look at me now. I'm out here today, hiking around in the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean? Look how beautiful this is. No one's around me for miles. The only thing, but probably the only thing around me is black bear and rattlesnakes, and it's a little early for either one of those. So, anyway, that's why van life works for me. Now, I've worked most of the time. This is the first time I've taken an extensive period of time off, and I'm only doing this because of the quarantine. My plan was to get back to LA, to get the van inspected, get my emissions inspection done. I have to do it every 2 years, so it was time this year I had to go back. And then I was going to hit the road again with another hospitality job, or I was looking at a job in Vail, Colorado. So I mean, there was like all kinds of work out there. But now, of course, the country shut down, and what I'm finding is like instead of saving up a bunch of money and going on a fish tour, or blowing out a trip across the country, man, it's this right here, boondocking, is pretty awesome. If I can just live out here for 14 days, that's a long time for me to stay, but I can explore my area, I can have a good time, and it costs me nothing. You know what I mean? So I've got plenty of food to restock my food supply or whatever. Let's say a couple $100. You know what I mean? And I could have a month's worth of food, honestly. I don't have a lot of possessions, but the ones I have are exactly what I need. I've invested in the right equipment and the right, to get the job done. And it's taken 2 years to find out, now what I want. And there's some other things that just recently came up that I'm looking at now as well. I need to get more into the solar, because I'm at a point now where I'm running out of battery packs, and there's no place to really recharge them. Everything's closed down. You can't hang out anywhere. There's no coffee shops. I'm gonna find something. I always do. And I've got I can charge them in my car, of course, my van. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed kind of what put me here. That's how it came to be. That's the kind of person I am, and I think that's why this life works for me. So different people do it for different reasons. That's my story. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a like, big thumbs up, share it for some people who thought about living in a van. You can go back in my videos all the way before I even, when I made the decision. So all that's been documented. Haven't done a great job of posting too many videos, but here recently I've been posting one a day. So if you liked it, tell me you like it. Give me a comment on it. Tell me your story if you want. Let me know what you think. Everybody have a great day, and we'll see you later.